Hello and welcome to the Out of the Sandbox video guide to the responsive 6.0 Shopify theme, now using Shopify sections. Today we're going to take a look at how you can go from a fresh upload of the new version of the theme to a version that looks like this London demo shop here. So we're going to talk about how to configure the header and the footer, and then use the new Shopify sections feature to create all of the various sections that you see on this homepage. To start, let's see what we're already working with here on the Shopify platform. So here I am on my admin panel, and to see first here, we've got some products already on the shop. These products have descriptions, they have prices, they have product images, some tags, all of the various things you'd associate with a product. If you needed any assistance with adding products to your shop, you can check out the Shopify documentation that will explain that process, and it will also talk to you about how to create collections, where you can categorize your products into collections, either with a smart collection that uses tags and conditions, or manually by adding products by selecting them from your product list, like we have here. Heading into the online store tab, you'll see here are my themes, but we also have some blog posts ready to go, and these blog posts have content, titles, featured images, and an excerpt as well, and I'll explain the importance of having an excerpt here shortly. We also have these pages, a couple of pages that we're going to be using to populate the homepage. And finally, we have these menus set up in navigation, and we'll go over the reason why we have these various menus set up and how they can be added to the homepage as well. So back to the Themes tab here. Ignore this version I have. This is the finished version, but we're going to go from a fresh upload of the theme. So depending on how you purchase the theme, you either received a download link in your email from Out of the Sandbox if you purchased it from them directly, or you will see the theme appear on your panel here if you purchased it through the Shopify theme store. So here I am selecting the zip file, and I can go ahead and upload it, and it will add it to my shop in an unpublished state, which you can see down here. So that we can see the changes live on my live site, we're going to go ahead and publish this theme and see what the default version of Responsive 6.0 looks like with the new sections feature. So here we go, and we can go ahead and view this theme to see a preview. And here are all the default sections that come on the Responsive 6.0 theme. So to jump right into it, let's go to this Customize Theme button here. And if you're already familiar with Shopify, if you've been using Shopify for a while, if you've been using the Out of the Sandbox themes for a while, this may seem a little bit unfamiliar to you, because this is the first Out of the Sandbox theme to employ the sections feature of Shopify. So as you see here, we've got these various sections on the side, and these settings change depending on which page you're viewing. Right now, since we're viewing the home page, we're seeing all of the homepage sections appear here along the left. But that would also apply to the product page settings and to the collection page settings. You need to jump in to a product page or to a collection page to be able to see the settings that are associated with it, other than these general settings. So these are settings that will apply to the whole site at one time, whether it's the colors or typography, and we'll jump into a few of these various settings that are involved in configuring the home page. So my first recommended step here is to go to change the theme style. So there are 4 demos of the responsive theme: New York, San Francisco, London, and Paris. And these presets are pretty much combinations of typography and color settings that change all at once whenever you select a new theme style. So since we are going to be mimicking this London Stationery demo, let's go ahead and select the London preset here and change the style. Right away we see that the typography and some of the colors have changed up to match that demo. However, all of the sections are still populated with their default content. So if you wanted to go in and manually alter any of the colors, you can find all of those settings here. There's also background settings, so you can apply backgrounds to various portions of the site. Here are the typography settings to change the typefaces that are used through the different sections of the site. But we're going to keep these all in the default style of the London preset. Let's jump into these sections to see what we're working with. So here at the top and here at the bottom, we have the header and the footer, and these will apply to all of the sections of your site, or all of the pages of your site. So let's start by configuring the header. Here's the first setting here where we can select our logo. So I've got a logo ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and select it, and it will render there immediately. That seems a little bit large for me, so let's bring down this logo display width to about 250 pixels. As you see, you can also change the alignment of the logo between two positions. Next, we have our navigation. So this is our main menu, and I have a menu in my navigation settings called Main Menu. There's a helpful link here that will jump you right over to those navigation settings if you are looking to alter what links are available in the main menu. But I want you to pay specific attention to this shop link here, which would lead to a collection page showing all of our products. But more importantly, we've also created a menu in navigation with the title Shop. By doing that, we have enabled the drop-down menu. So as you see here, out of these 4 links, Shop is the only one here that has a drop-down. And as we hover over it, we have these 2 other options. And those are the 2 links that are showing here in that navigation. So Shop, we have cards and notebooks. To create a 2-tiered drop-down menu like you see, we've also created a menu called Cards, which matches the name of the link in the parent menu. By doing that, we have created this 2-tiered drop-down menu. So as we hover over Shop, there's one drop-down, and as we hover over Cards, there's the second drop-down. So that's how you create these drop-down menus, is by properly naming your menus and your menu links to match. We have a few different options here for the menu alignment, and we can change the border. I believe the one in the demo is solid like this, but you can go ahead and play with those different styles to see which one works for you. The border between the links can be enabled and disabled here. We have this feature where you can add a special announcement that will appear right below the main menu. So there's our special message appearing below the menu. We can have it link somewhere as well. So now in sections, you are given all of your options of collections, products, pages, and blog posts to link to directly. To add some urgency, you can make it bright red or whatever color you'd like, and you can see these changes updating immediately in the preview. Let's go without an announcement for now. We have this top bar here, which describes this section where we have our search, our currency converter, our card icon, and our checkout icon. And if we'd like, we can even enable a menu to appear up there. So I've created a menu with a couple of links just to show you how those render. And by adding a phone number here as well, you will see how the phone number is added to that top bar. Wonderful. So that concludes the header portion of the settings here. If you're looking for settings associated specifically with the search field and with the currency converter, you can jump into the general settings here, where you will find the various currency converter settings, where you can choose which currencies appear in that selector. And you have a few search settings here, whether your search results will show just from details within products, or whether you can also search for blog post content and various page content. Back into the Sections tab, before jumping into the actual body of the homepage, let's scroll on down to the bottom and take a look at the footer, the other common element that will appear on all pages of your site. So here in the footer settings, we have a few here again. Here's where we can select our menu, again from those navigation settings. We have the ability of selecting as well a horizontal menu, which will appear along the bottom here. We can have a content page appear, so we can choose one of the pages that we've created in that Pages tab. I have this short More Info page, which adds this section here to the right of the newsletter sign up. You can change the alignment of that section if you choose. And you can add additional copyright text. The rest of these are enableable and disableable, which apply to the newsletter sign-up form, and the credits for the theme designer, and if you'd like to disable those payment icons as well. So as you see here in the preview, all of those changes update immediately, so you can play around with all those settings to see what suits your particular shop. Now let's talk about the body of the homepage and start to take a look at this new Shopify Sections feature. So what you see on the left here are a list of sections. Now these sections can be reordered by clicking and dragging them, and you can see the change happen live in the preview that appears to the right. So right now I am grabbing the slideshow that you see in the first position and moving it along down the page. So it's that easy to sort of reorder all of these sections. But let's take a look at what sections are actually at your disposal by going to this Add Sections feature, and you'll see that these are all of the homepage sections that can be added. And as we go to select a section, before it's actually added, we get a preview on the right of what a default appearance of that section looks like. So here's the blog posts. Here is a collection list, which is a listing of collections. This is a featured collection, which is a listing of products. We have featured promotions, which are editable links that can feature images and text. We've got this image with text feature, image with text overlay. This is the slideshow. Featured products are individual products that you can show on your homepage. The social feeds are the Twitter and Instagram feeds. This is where you can include normal page content. We have this section here, which can be edited to show text and images. And finally, the featured video section. So, my advice before engaging in creating the body of your homepage would be to do a mixture of experimenting with these various sections while also coming up with something of a design or a sequence of sections that you think that will work best for telling the story of your site. If we start by taking a look at the London Stationery demo, you'll see here that they start with a slideshow followed by a section of text, followed by featured promotions, followed by a collection list, then a featured collection showing some products. We've got this image with text overlay, previously known as a banner. This is a section of page content. We have our featured blog, another image with text overlay, social media, and then the footer. So you can mimic this type of design. You can come up with your own design that, in a sense, sets the sequence of sections that your shopper will see whenever they engage with your homepage. So with that sequence of sections in hand, we can go ahead and start configuring the body of the homepage. But instead of trying to reconfigure these existing default sections, I'm actually going to go through and delete each one of them except for the first slideshow section, so that we're sort of starting from a blank slate, knowing that the first section on the homepage is going to be that slideshow. So here I am just deleting each one of the sections, leaving just this first section here, which is a slideshow section. So we open it up here and we see our slideshow settings. So we've got a few settings here. We can choose between a slide or fade style of animation for the slides. And we can select the slideshow speed through a few different options here. The slideshow itself can be constrained to the column framework like you see here, or it can stretch to the full screen like this. Below that, we've got this content section, and this content section is where the slides live, and you can go ahead and change the order of the slides by just clicking and dragging the slides like this. And you can add a slide by just using that Add Image button. So, once you actually enter into the slide itself, you'll see the various slide settings. So let's go ahead and choose our first slideshow image. I have a few slideshow images prepared here. And then below that, you'll see we've got our heading setting. We've got a subheading setting. We can change the position of the text between left, right, and center. And then the alignment of the text itself can be set to left, right, or center, as you see. Each slide can contain a link button, and so all you need to do to enable that is add some text to the button label setting here. And then you can either enter a URL into the button link field or select from the pre-existing list of collections, products, pages, and blog posts. So we can just choose a link here. And so that's how you enable all of the various settings of the slides. So behind the scenes here, I'm going to jump into these other two slides, which have the identical settings to the settings we just took a look at, and I'm going to configure them to match the slideshow of the London Stationery demo, and I'll be right back. And we're back. As you see here, each one of these slides has been configured using these settings that we just took a look at here to match that London Stationery demo. Too easy. All right, with that section complete, let's go ahead and add the next section here, which is a section of rich text and image, which looks a little something like this. So we can go ahead and choose the section from the Add Sections menu, and then go Add, and immediately we are jumped into the settings associated with that section. We can upload an image for a section like this if we'd like. The demo doesn't have one. Instead, I'm just going to go ahead and enter the heading that I have here and the body text that I have here to complete that section. You have a few options here as well. You can bold text, you can italicize text, and then you can add spaces between here. So if you are looking to add a full page break between some paragraphs, you can just use the Enter key, which will start a new paragraph. Alternatively, if you're looking to just go to the next line without creating a new paragraph, you can use Shift-Enter, which will just go like that. So if you're looking to start a new paragraph, use Enter. If you're looking to just render text onto the next line, use Shift-Enter. We have two options for the text size here. We're going to set it to a regular size, and then you can align the text to the left or to the center. And these sections can also include a link button if you'd like, which looks like this whenever you select a particular link. Just like that. We're going to leave the link off of it to match the demo. Looking good. Moving right along from that text section, we've got a section of featured promos. So I'm going to go ahead again to Add Section and take a look through my list here for some featured promotions. Here it is. This is what the default section looks like. We're going to go ahead and add it so that we can access the settings. So first we have the promotions per row setting. We're going to go ahead and set that to 4 instead of 3, which adds an additional promotion. Now, it looks like a blank spot here because we only have the 3 promos added in the content section. So let's go ahead and add a promo to fill in that space. Like the slideshow, this section of featured promotions can be constrained to the column framework using the standard setting, or it can stretch the full width of the window using full width, which is what we're going to use. Now let's jump into the actual promotion settings here. So the first one being the image selection. So we're going to go ahead and choose an image. Again, I've got some prepared here. I'm going to choose this first image. Then we've got the ability to choose where does this promotion link to. And we can choose between our pre-existing list of products, collections, pages, and blog posts. This looks like a notebook link to me. I'm going to put in notebooks as our heading, which appears just below the image. And then if we'd like additional text, it will appear below the title of that particular featured promo. So we're going to leave the text out of it for now. And again here behind the scenes, I'm going to use those identical settings on these other 3 promos to complete the configuration of this section to match the London Stationery demo. And I'll be right back. And we're back. So just like with the slideshow, behind the scenes here I've configured these other 3 featured promotions by selecting images, adding some headings, and selecting links for them. So you can do that on your shop as well. So let's back out to our master sections area here and add our next section, which is the collection list, which is a listing of collections, which appears like this by default. So we're going to go ahead and add this section so that we can access the settings. I only have 2 collections that I'd like to feature here, so I'm going to set the collections per row to 2. I think I'd prefer for this to show up without the collection title, or without the heading title here, so we're just going to remove it. And then we have the option of showing the title of the collection and the product count below the collection image, like you see here, this collection title and this item count. Now, there is this 3rd collection here showing on the next line, so let's go ahead to that collection in the content area and delete it, so that we just have these two to work with. And then when we jump into the actual collection setting itself, we can choose the collection. So I'm going to choose this business cards collection here. And for the next collection, I'm going to choose this popular products. Now, the images that appear here are the product images of the first item that appears in these collections. So since these two collections happen to have a couple of the same products in them, I'm going to go ahead and manually select a different image here for this other collection, one that looks a little something like this, just to add variety to this section so we don't have two of the same image side by side. And that's how it renders. So lovely looking section, and these links will then lead to full-fledged collection pages representing business cards or popular products. So backing out again to the master section list and adding our next section, which is a featured collection. So here we are in our collections area. Here's featured collection. This is the default appearance. We're going to go ahead and add that. Great. We can change our heading here. And then we can select the collection that we'd actually like to display. We're going to use this business cards option. And here we have the ability to change the number of products per row. We'll change it to 2 to match the number of products that are in this collection. If we had a large collection, we'd have the ability to limit the number of products that appear in total. Back to our master section list for the next section, which is an image with text overlay, previously known as a banner. So this is the default appearance. We're going to go ahead and add it. We've got the ability to constrain the banner to the column framework, or we can have the section span the full width of the window. We've got some suggestions here for your image sizes, for your image dimensions. And I'm going to go ahead and upload the first image that corresponds with those dimensions here. And I've got a great selection right here. Similar to the slideshow, you can set up your heading, your subheading, and then change the position and text alignment using these settings. Every one of these images with text overlay sections also has the ability to add a button link. So very similar to the slideshow settings, but without the sliding animation component. So that is how that is configured. Now we've got another section just like that that will follow along here, and we'll jump to that in a moment. So the next section after this image with text overlay is a section of actual page content. So here we are down here, we can add a section of page content. This is the default appearance of it. We're going to go ahead and add it, and then select the page that we want. I've got this home page content page. And as I add it, it may seem fairly robust to you. Here's an image on one side and text on the other side. Now this has been accomplished by using the built-in column framework that comes with the theme. We have some lessons and some support articles and some videos out there already about how to use the column framework to create interesting layouts. But just to give you a little preview, here's the actual page itself on the Pages platform of Shopify. So this editor here does not give you an accurate representation of how it will appear once it's actually embedded into the theme, but this HTML will give you the idea that we've used this 7-column class followed by an 8-column class here to separate the content into 2 sections. So again, if you're looking for more details on how to create interesting layouts like that, check out the Support Center for a plethora of interesting resources on exactly that topic. Back into the customized theme settings, we've got that page content added. So we'll jump back to our master sections list and add the next section, which is a blog section. Here's the blog section right here, the default appearance. We'll go ahead and add it. We can choose our heading here. We'll change it to news. I'll go ahead and choose the existing blog that we've already created on the Shopify platform with some articles. So I mentioned earlier in the video the importance of including an excerpt in your blog post. I'll just show you what that looks like again here in blog posts. Jumping into one of our blog posts, we have this excerpt, and it's the excerpt text that appears on the home page below the blog image. So if you were creating a new blog post, be adding a blog post, be sure to use this Add Excerpt button here to add in the text that you would like to have appear on the homepage. So this section is fairly straightforward. We've got the ability of changing the number of posts that appear if there were more or fewer posts in my blog. And then we've got these settings that could help add some extra information about these blog posts. If these blog posts had tags, they would appear alongside here as well. But a lot of the time we're looking to keep our homepage clean and elegant. So it may be in your interest to remove a lot of this data here and just keep it sort of simple without having the author appear right here. Instead, the author will appear when you actually navigate to the blog page itself. Back to our master sections list to add our next section, which is another image with text overlay. So these are very flexible sections here. I'm going to go ahead and add the other image that I have set aside for this type of section, which looks a little something like this. And again, you have all of the same headline, subheading, and positioning options that you have with the slideshows. Of course, and adding a button with a link is possible as well. Finally, let's head down to our final section of the homepage, which is the social media section. So it's called social feeds here. We can go and add that. And here it shows that we have the ability of adding Twitter or Instagram. And you can swap the order here to change which is on the left and which is on the right. Or you can have just the one appear. So I'm going to jump into Twitter and remove that for now so that Instagram takes the full width of this section. Then, if I'd like to link this up with my Instagram account, you can use this question mark icon here to jump into our Instagram access token generator. Here you click the Generate Access Token button, you copy the token that is generated, and you jump back over to the settings and paste it into the Instagram access token setting to allow your Instagram feed to appear. I'm going to change the number of images here to 4 so that I don't have the spacing along that bottom. Looks great. Now there are a couple of sections that aren't included in the demo that are indeed available sections here. So I believe the only ones we haven't really taken a look at are image with text, which looks a little something like this. We'll go ahead and add it just so that you can see what these settings are. So you can choose an image, and then you can choose the layout of whether the image is on the left or the right, followed by all of the text settings that you're familiar with from the other sections of the theme. So no need to keep that there to match our demo. The other section that we have yet to take a look at here is the featured product. So here's a featured products setting, and this is what it looks like here. So by adding it, you can see that the products themselves are added in this content list. You can change the order of them by clicking and dragging, or add more products as you see fit. And there's only one setting within the product itself, and that's to choose a product. So this is what a section like that could look like. Just like that. A great way of featuring your top products right on your homepage and allowing the shopper to add them to the cart without having to navigate to a product page, which is an interesting way to do it. And you've got the ability of truncating it so that there's no product description at all, and it just sort of keeps the key details there on the homepage. We're going to go ahead and delete that section to keep our version matching the demo. So I'm going to save all of that. I believe if I jump over here, this is still the original appearance of what I started with. So as you see, these are all still the default sections. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a refresh and see if all of my changes have taken place here. And look at that. We've got a site that looks exactly like the London Stationery demo, with all of these sections placed just as we had sorted out here. And it looks great. So if you are already a Shopify user, some of this may seem drastically different to the way that you set up themes previously. If you're a new Shopify user, welcome to the new Shopify Sections feature, and I hope that you enjoy it for customizing your own homepage. I will make one more mention here. Just as you go in to configure your products and collections, you'll notice that those settings don't appear here just by default. What you need to do is head into an actual product. And all of a sudden, the options in the sections area change. So this is where you'll find all of your product settings, and it's necessary to first navigate to a product to see the product settings. Likewise, you're going to need to navigate to a collection like this one here to see the collection settings. That applies to the blog posts as well, and any custom page templates. So that's a big change from the previous version of the settings, where now you do need to navigate in the editor to that type of page to have access to the settings that are associated with that page. So I will be covering products and collections, blog posts, page content in future videos, but I just wanted to give you that heads up in case you are trying to find those settings. As always, if you hit a snag or have any problems, head over to support.outofthesandbox.com and check out our support center, where there are a plethora of resources to help you out. My name is Sean Campbell. Thank you for joining me for this video, and take care.